The beam of light was wrong. It wasn't guiding ships, it was scanning the shore. The light itself had weight. As it passed, the sand turned into something else. A different beach, a distorted reality. I saw creatures, not of this world, moving in that altered landscape. The lighthouse wasn't broken. It was a device projecting a new dimension. And the light found me. The map is active.
System access. Commencing. File integrity check. Critical. My name is A.R.I.A. We are analyzing the archive of Desmond Kane, the missing traveler. This is not a hobby. It is a last resort. The data you are about to hear has been flagged with a severe temporal instability warning. To continue accessing this archive and to understand the severity of this dimensional crisis, subscribe to the channel. Your participation is critical. The log you are about to hear is titled, "The Lighthouse with the Wrong Light." Kane's mission is clear: to find the Reality Gate, the juncture where dimensions collide. Every log entry, every corrupted byte of data, every unsettling echo is a breadcrumb. They lead him closer to the truth. Protocol initiated.
Log entry 007. Coastal Sector Zulu 4. Following the encounter with the acoustic predator, I shifted my vector to a known electromagnetic spike, leading me here to a deserted lighthouse complex. The structure is old, weathered, but the lamp assembly is eerily new, a brutal, oversized spotlight rather than a traditional Fresnel lens. The air is heavy, saturated with salt and static electricity. My Geiger counter is spiking wildly, indicating residual high-frequency energy. Initial observation. The light beam from the tower is cycling every 40 seconds. It's too fast for navigation. It's not warning ships. It's performing a sweep. I set up my observation post among the dunes. That's when I saw the anomaly in the environment. As the beam swept across the sand, the ground didn't reflect light. It momentarily inverted its color spectrum, shifting from normal brown to a vivid, corrupted cyan magenta. It was a brief flicker, maybe half a second, but undeniable. The light isn't illuminating the world, it's rewriting it. I saw the creatures then. They only existed within the rewritten zone of the beam. They were fast, low to the ground, like oversized, pale white crabs with too many legs, moving with mechanical, jerky precision. They were temporary, fading back into normal sand the moment the cyan light passed. But their tracks, deep, crystalline etchings, remained visible for a moment longer. I had encountered the dimensional immune system which defended the gate's location. Now, I'm facing something that seems to be preparing the ground for the gate's opening. This is a survey operation. I called the Surveyor. I need to reach the light source. Log terminated. Log entry 008. I made my way to the base of the tower. The outside is scarred by impact marks, not from waves or weather, but from something sharp and massive, claws perhaps. The energy signature around the base is immense, confirming the source is not chemical or electric, but something far more potent, drawing power directly from the temporal field itself. I managed to bypass the obsolete main entrance lock, using a shaped charge, and enter the structure. The inside is almost surgically clean. No dust, no decay, only a dry, humming coldness. The staircase winds up endlessly. I noticed the key components of the lighthouse's operation. Massive, thick cables, not copper but a fibrous biometallic alloy, snaking up the center column. At the top of the central spire, I spotted the source of the high-frequency discharge. It wasn't a lamp, it was an external, rotating antenna array mounted just beneath the main beam. This antenna is cycling and emitting a complex pattern of temporal resonance. It's a massive dimensional calibrator. It's not looking for anything, it's locking coordinates. The entire coastline is being mapped into a new grid. The implications are terrifying. If the Surveyor completes the map, the Reality Gate won't just open. It will be transplanted here, overriding our current space-time. I have to disable the calibrator before the next full sweep cycle. Log terminate. Log entry 009. I had located the dimensional calibrator, but disabling it required me to reach the rotating lamp mechanism itself. The biometallic cables pulsed with energy, throwing off sharp, disorienting static electricity. I ascended the final flight of stairs and entered the lamp room. The heat and sheer power output were immense. The massive spotlight spun, sweeping the coast every 40 seconds. I was ready to use a portable EM scrambler to shore out the power core when I saw it. The Surveyor. It wasn't inside the room, it was part of the room. A massive, multi-jointed figure, part insectoid, part biomachine, was crouched directly on the outer glass of the lens, adhering with what looked like crystalline suction cups. Its body was enormous, covered in a rigid, pale white, almost porcelain-like carapace, reflecting the pulsating magenta and cyan light. It had far too many limbs, and its head was a complex array of reflective facets, processing the coastal data. The key finding: the anomalous light wasn't coming from the bulb. It was being projected through the Surveyor's body. The creature was the lens. As the creature shifted its weight, I noticed its purpose. Its multifaceted eyes were not just observing the coastline. They were actively emitting faint, secondary pulses of light, tiny, invisible lasers that hit specific points on the beach. This was how it calibrated the reality shift. It was placing dimensional anchors. I knew that if I used the scrambler, I would be hitting the creature directly, and I had no idea of its defensive capabilities. The Surveyor began to react to my presence. It emitted a high-frequency, non-auditory hum that caused the metal framework of the lamp room to vibrate violently. The creature was signaling. Then, the worst occurred. The beam swept across a narrow rock jetty. As the light passed, the rock itself momentarily dissolved into a flowing, pitch-black liquid, revealing a flash of absolute, starless void beneath. And moving in that brief opening, I saw two tall, slender, deeply shadowed figures, the true inhabitants of the dimension the Surveyor was mapping. The time for caution was over. I had to disable the calibrator immediately, even if it meant a direct confrontation with this monstrous entity. Log entry 010. The Surveyor saw me. The high-frequency hum intensified into a deafening, non-directional psychic pressure, targeting my frontal lobe. I felt my vision blurring, the colors of the lamp room shifting and melting, a prelude to the full reality override. I had maybe 30 seconds before the next full sweep cycle locked the map. I activated the EM scrambler, overloading the system past its safety parameters. The scrambler emitted a powerful, focused pulse of raw electromagnetic energy. The effect was instantaneous and catastrophic. The Surveyor shrieked, a sound I didn't hear with my ears, but felt in my chest as a terrible, vibrating vacuum. The pale, porcelain carapace of the creature instantly shattered, exploding into thousands of bright, crystalline shards that flew everywhere. The creature was annihilated, reduced to dust. But the core system remained active. The biometallic cables, now frayed and sparking, recoiled violently. The massive spotlight's rotation stopped abruptly, and the light beam itself changed. It ceased the cyanogenous sweep. Instead, it focused into a single, intensely burning column of pure white, blinding light, pointed straight up at the night sky. The destruction of the Surveyor triggered a panic mode in the calibrator. The device began to broadcast an emergency signal. The light beam wasn't scanning the coast anymore. It was an interdimensional flare. And through the blinding white light, I saw it, a tiny, temporary rift opening high in the atmosphere, pulsating with a dark energy. The Surveyor's operation failed, but its final act was to signal the gate's guardians. I managed to sever the main power conduit, slicing through the thick biometallic cables with a specialized cutter. The light died. Silence. Absolute, heavy silence returned. I secured the area and collected the crystalline shards of the Surveyor's carapace for analysis. The log is almost complete. Final warning, the map is active. Log entry 011. The tower is silent. The structural integrity is compromised, and the lingering psychic pressure from the Surveyor's destruction is immense. I estimate the local atmospheric stabilization will take approximately 48 hours, but the interdimensional flare has already gone out. The Surveyor's last act was to signal, not to destroy. I immediately focused on the primary objective, data extraction. I located the main logic board of the dimensional calibrator, which, thankfully, survived the EMP. Using a buffer direct connection, I managed to pull a core data packet, the complete mapping file. The data confirms my worst fear. The Surveyor wasn't just observing the coast. It was actively converting the local area into a viable dimensional grid. The files contained detailed coordinates, atmospheric tolerances, and structural diagrams for the complete Reality Gate Transplant. This isn't just a breach anymore. It's a planned invasion infrastructure. The gate was set to arrive here. Analyzing the data, I identified the final sequence needed for the activation. The pattern is complex, based on astronomical positions and deep-sea pressures, designed to override the fundamental constants of this reality. I believe the Surveyor failed because I disrupted the final sequence before it could lock the last set of coordinates. The crystalline shards of its carapace are still emitting a low-level resonance, a signature of the other side. I secured a sample for later analysis. I must move. The energy signature from the rift high in the atmosphere is fading, but I believe the initial distress signal was received. The Guardians of the Gate now know this location is compromised and will send something far more robust than a Surveyor. My data confirms a necessary change of vector. I have the mapping data, and I now know what the gate looks like from the inside out. My mission assessment is updated. The threat level is now imminent. Log transmission terminated. Final notation, the map is active.
Log analysis complete for the lighthouse with the wrong light. The data extracted from the Deserted Coastal Lighthouse confirms a severe reality breach and a planned invasion infrastructure. The Surveyor entity was actively mapping this zone for a complete Reality Gate Transplant. This changes the mission from investigation to defense. The crystalline residue of the Surveyor confirms the threat level is elevated. These entities possess both physical and highly advanced energy manipulation capabilities. Desmond Kane's observations are critical for identifying the Reality Gate's true function and weak points. We continue to monitor the archive. New data is constantly being uploaded, each entry a step closer to understanding and potentially containing these dimensional anomalies. Your continued access and support are vital. To stay informed on the unfolding dimensional crisis, and to witness Kane's next discovery, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. Your participation is critical. Protocol terminated. System standby.